Tieto, čo tu máš. Masla.
We are starting with an announcement about the butter going bad, so this is a wonderful start. I just hit record. So thank you for sharing that. And hi, welcome. I'm Shimon. I'm here with Rishko, and I can see also Agnieszka being able to join us.
Kávu som si chcela
It's
spraviť.
lunch, wonderful. We're going to open the general channel chat, so you can write to us as well if you are not having your mic on or something like that. Good. So let's start the show. Let's start with very basic things. I hope everybody knows what a LARP is. They have read our documentation. And if not, we will have to look at those things. I need to open. Rishko, where is our pinned message about today's workshop?
Our pinned message and announcements, no?
No, here it is. I'm going into our channel because that's where we decided to pin it. So, our online workshop is going to consist of very simple things of what is a vampire for everybody who is new to Vampire the Masquerade. Then we should take a little break. Then we're going to go over signature abilities, how to play them. And then we're going to have another break. Then we're going to talk about the basics of I keep forgetting this word also in Slovak. It's like how do you do stuff? So play to uplift, and then we're going to be having another break, and we're going to finish off with safety briefing. Any questions?
How long do you expect this to go on?
We're in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Right. So let's get back here. So, the first thing is, what is a vampire? Vampire the Masquerade is a setting in which we will be playing. It is part of the world of darkness. And out of everything which has been written, which is too long to discuss right now, we're going to focus on three things which will be affecting you on the game. So, first things first, we're going to handle very, very basic things known as vampire feeding. I'm going to share an image into our general chat for everybody to see. There you go. Enjoy. So, act of vampire feeding is very simple on our game. Every vampire needs blood to survive, and each and every one of you has defined how does their character hunt. This is their predator type. And your predation dictates what you can actually drink on the game and which things will be safe for you to drink on the game. Otherwise, they will give you no nourishment. So, there is blood provided on the game, which you can drink. There are characters on the game, which you can drink. This might have side effects and affect how do you feel about one another. Or in case there is nothing suitable for you, like you have a very specific repertoire of what you drink, or maybe you don't drink a lot of things because of some moral dilemmas and issues, you can always go hunt outside. We have made a deal with Dome of Creativity, which is the tea house where our after party will be taking place after the game. It is just across the street. You can go there, you can order yourself a blood vial, and you have a drink, you come back, it counts like you have fed successfully, and congratulations, you have once again 3 uses of signature abilities. If you have a character, I don't think anybody actually took this, but if you have a character which has less of those due to a clan bane, well, then you gotta go and have a drink after 1 or maybe after 2. And best of luck to you if you do. So do you have any questions about feeding?
Do they know what a blood veil means in this tea house?
Yes, we will give you a specific word because we haven't yet made arrangement with the owner. But there will be a code word, and they do literally have that on the menu. It's like a potion, you know, they are into nerdy stuff as well. People come to play their tabletop games, so they have like funny potions like mana potion, health potion, so one of them will be a blood potion for that night.
Right?
I have a question. Do resonances come into play at all, or it was not implemented from the tabletop?
Resonances were not implemented due to just a rule overload. The only thing which is
Yes.
implemented from special blood properties are vampiric properties, and in case there will be a character which has a dyscrasia on them, you will learn that if you kill them and drain them completely. There are ways how to learn about that, but not a lot of characters specialize in learning about these and smelling these on others, so we didn't go into a lot of detail in publicly available documents due to it being literally like one character who actually deals with this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all from me. Thanks.
Any others? I
Mm-hmm.
think that yes.
No, just thinking. I know. I forgot. I'm sorry.
So let's go to the second part of feeding, which is like how do you play that safely? Because I presume none of you want to be bitten by either your friends or relative strangers who you decided to play a game with. So on the live workshop, we're going to go over some techniques of how to play this safely, but the very most basic one from theater play is literally to grab somebody on the neck like this and then bite into your own arm. So from outside, it looks like you're holding somebody's neck vein open, but what you are doing, you're biting into your own hand, and therefore the neck of your co-player stays unsoiled by your saliva. If you wish to have a more direct contact or do it some other ways, or well, there are some other ways how to do it also safely, but you can always use calibration, which will go into safety training and how do we use all the different parts of our system. Let's go to second part of being a vampire. Outside of the lore, there is another mechanical effect besides hunger, and that is frenzy. Posting it to you, changing it in the recording, so we have a nice image on top of what we need. So, what happens with a vampire when they are in mortal danger? They frenzy. It's called a fear frenzy. They run away. They try to get away as quickly as possible, and they do it, well, they do it the best they can. Nothing can get in their way. It will be up to you to play this. The second kind of frenzy is frenzy which is destructive, or fury frenzy. Fury frenzy can be triggered when somebody gets really on your nerves and threatens what it means to be a vampire for you. You can literally take guidelines from toxic masculinity and how people react when you threaten that, hey, you're not macho enough. And they react violently. There are few ways how to avoid this other than direct confrontation. Most of them are running away. And third kind of frenzy happens when you use a signature ability or when a power is used on you once you are out of juice. So this is the time when you should really go and feed, but instead of feeding, you have to use an ability or something else triggers another feeding effect. And then you're in hunger frenzy, which means that the closest source of blood, if there are several on the same distance from you, the one which is the most easy to get to, the weakest, should be your object of hunger. You should feed from those people, those things, those glasses. It doesn't matter if it is your preferred type or not. In this case, it's the beast who is guiding your character, not your character's mind. And this has been the lecture portion. Do we have questions?
One question regarding frenzy.
Yes.
Um, when we are in this state, should we underplay it or overplay it? Basically, I'm asking if it is better for the game to start screaming like a howling maniac, or just for example, doing it as jumping around, doing it as dramatically as possible, or it is better to make it subdued, especially I'm thinking if I am hunger frenzying and I run into the into the place where we have the after party.
Well, the thing is, if you are hunger frenzying and you run outside, well, you are outside of the game boundaries, so you walk across the street like normal, and then you go to the place to feed, and then you also act mostly normal because these people are not really part of our game. If there will be some players outside, you can continue playing it with them. The city has been notified about our game. Everybody knows it is going to be going on, so people have been briefed and prepared, including the police. And you can play as high as you want. What would be very nice from everybody is to apply your character's characteristics. If you're playing a character who will ride the frenzy, ride the frenzy. If you're playing a character who will subdue it and essentially get away, lock themselves in, and frenzy out there, then roleplay that. The important thing here is it is a mechanism built in which can get you to a place that you are no longer able to continue the scene you are in. The second thing which is important here is essentially very simple fact that after 10 p.m. in Slovakia there is a law in order which is very simple and it's called night peace. So after 10, please don't cause a big fuss on the street and don't wake people living in the same building where we are in. There are a few places where you can be louder, like underground or in the treasury. But outside of that, it would be very nice if everybody would abide by this law and nobody calls police on us for nightly disturbance. So, you know, as with all things, you should calibrate with yourself and decide what is safe, what is unsafe, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and, you know, make it into a nice experience. We'll get to playing to Uplift a bit later, where we will talk about this a bit more. Do we have any further questions?
Thank you.
Gladly.
Proste si treba dávať pozor na policajtov, lebo nám sa tiež raz stalo, že mali sme scénku, išli sme do toho prehnane teatrálne a babka na nás zavolala policajtov.
To sa občas stane.
Ono sa to dosť blbo vysvetľuje potom babke, akože treba si dávať aj pozor na to, že kde človek ako robí, lebo bežní ľudia nevedia, že čo tam my vlastne hráme.
Jo, akože, čo sa tohto týka, myslím, že Arťon to porozumie aj z toho, čo hovoríme. Ale v jednoduchosti ide o to, že ak je nejaký takýto problém, že dojde polícia, niekto sa sťažuje, niekto sa moc vypytuje, neriešte to sami, kontaktujte nás ako organizátorov. Vysvetľovali sme nejednej policajnej hliadke, nejedným znepokojeným občanom, že áno, my sme dospelí ľudia, došli sme sem, zložili sme sa na akciu a hráme sa tu na čarodejníkov, vampírov a vlkodlakov. A je to úplne v pohode, pokým niečo od nás chcú, môžu nám napísať, dať vedieť teraz, alebo čo sa deje. Takže snažíme sa nebyť opití pri našej hre a ide nám o to, že sme sa dobre bavili. Pokým chcete piť viacej, ako to, že si dáte jedno pivo na uvoľnenie alebo niečo, máme afterku presne na tieto veci a radi si s vami posedíme, pokecáme.
Artyom, so you know, they were just like talking about what if somebody calls the police on us, what do we do? and basically she want to explain that they should direct them to us, and we should be talking to police and explain them what to do and that kind of stuff.
And
Okay.
that this has happened in the past. People are concerned when they see something weird, and
Oh.
it is not a problem.
Well, but also we are enclosed, like closed building, so I don't. Well, unless they kind of look into that building, I just don't know how. We would have to be like extremely loud. So I don't know.
Well, for everybody who would be concerned about their noise level, one of our players lives in the building, so don't worry, he will let you know. He plays the Primogen of the Tremere, so it is
Yeah.
taken that he knows the buildings, you know, he is attuned with their magic.
Yeah.
To Daniel, who is writing to us, I did not confirm anything. If you meet a werewolf on the game, enjoy.
Yeah. No, they might not really like you that much, or maybe they do, but higher chances that they won't.
Yeah, what is the worst that can happen? You will blood bond a werewolf. Or there will be nothing to blood bond to.
Uh, Sorry, but this is a good question. It's everyone good with camera streaming active. Ja by som chcel tiež nejaké zábery urobiť alebo niečo podobné, či by bol problém.
Myslíš na hre?
No, na hre.
Myslím si, že s tým problém nebude. We are going to be discussing like how do we handle the technical issue of GDPR. So for the case of us being able to do more games and being able to promote us, we would like everybody to sign a GDPR agreement that we can use your images. If any of you are members of the secret police or you are members of some protected political group and your faces cannot be displayed on our pictures, please bring a confirmation about this in writing, which we will put into our files and then go with the photographer through the pictures, and the pictures with you will either be censored or deleted.
Well,
And yes, I had issues like this with some players in the past.
Wow.
I don't know, man.
You don't have to know, that they will tell you, and it's better when they tell you than before the police comes to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. So, do we have anything more to how to play Frenzy?
Yes. Fuck. You know, that's it.
All right. I'm having a bit of a slower upkeep, but let's go to the third image. The third image comes from, I am quite sure, wonderful and definitely not trashy book series. And our third vampire thing, which we'll be talking about, is the Blood Bond. So,
You picked perfect image.
Blood Bond basically works like this. If you drink blood from a vampire, they become the most important person in your life, and they will eventually gain tremendous power over you. In reality, vampires consider blood bond to be in effect after 3 drinks. So the 3 drinks have to come, and then you are fully in their power. Whatever you're going to do, whoever you're going to talk to, they are the first thing on your mind. They are the thing which comes, and when the vampire who has enthralled you tells you to jump off a bridge, you don't ask why. You ask when and how high. So beware of drinking blood of others, or do it and enjoy the fun which comes after. Because there is
Yeah.
also a thing known as emotions and Vermilion Wedding or the Red Wedding. when two vampire lovers decide to blood bond to one another and, just be together forever. Nothing has never gone wrong when two people were together forever.
Bloodborne is one of the most powerful weapons Vampire has, I think. Because you can literally make a slave when you can make a ghoul out of it. When you give your blood to somebody else. Also, when you can make a slave of another vampire within the game. So, Bloodborne is probably one of the strongest tools that there is to use. So,
And that's what I wanted to ask. How
Yes.
do we play this?
Well, you play this very, very simply. It is everybody's, everybody will get a sheet of paper from us, which will be your character sheet, and there's going to be some blank spaces. You should track three things, and that is, if you have drunk any blood from a vampire, who was it? When you have drunk first time, treat them as your best buddy. They are your best friend forever, and nothing can go wrong unless they keep continuously being bad to you, then it is essentially best friendship going sour. Second, you have drunk for the second time. They are becoming like the go-to person, the best one that you can rely upon. So, it is presumed that vampires will not drink from somebody they, despise. But they should have some positive connection with each other. Or maybe they were forced to, and now they have no choice. They are forced to rely on their captor, essentially. And you can do these two drinks at any time. These don't go away. So even when you have drank from somebody 300 years ago, it is still there. They are still very important to you. You will always listen to them before you take an action if they ask you to do that way. If they are more of a brash person and you are somewhere with them, you're going to be brushed together. But drink for a third time. And yes, this can be literally one drink, second drink, third drink, straight in front of them, and welcome to Bloodbond. Now, when they tell you something, you do it. You don't question it. You can have questions only to satisfy them more. And this is very hard to play. And that's why such a powerful effect washes away after 1 month. If you wish to have somebody enthralled for longer, you can force them to drink from you up to 6 times. And that's the maximum when it is literally turning into half a year of, fun times being controlled by another. But the most important thing is, you can do this on one game. You don't have to wait several nights or several hours or anything. And the other thing which is in there is don't be afraid to use calibration. Not every blood bond is a bond between lovers. Sometimes it can literally be your general and you are their most loyal soldier, or any other thing which comes good for you, which you are able to play. Because there are people who have boundaries and people might not want to play that they are in love with the prince who has decided to punish them by blood bonding them. So calibrate, decide what you are able to play, how do you want to play it, and both please be comfortable despite one of you being clearly in the hands of the other. The
Yeah.
second thing about this is giving somebody your blood also counts into how much blood you can use. So when you have given somebody 3 drinks, now it's time for you to feed. And this is cumulative with use of special abilities. We'll go into this in the next segment. So, do we have any questions about blood bonding and drinking vampire blood?
There was one question. One player asked me, what happens if somebody, if there's a normal blood in a cup, and somebody puts a vampire blood in it? Does it dissolve, or does the one blood,
Okay. So the thing is, if you want to do something like this, I recommend you ask a blood sorcerer or a blood alchemist to help you stabilize your blood. Because blood, like any other, be it magical vampire blood or regular pig's blood, coagulates. If it is left out for too long, it's going to be worthless. But there are ways like signature abilities in our game which can help you make, for example, a glass which will have a sticker on it. You drink the glass, you read the sticker, and it tells you the special properties. I don't know, you can get a boost, you can get blood bonded. Give it a try, it's gonna be fun either way.
Okay.
Maybe I don't remember it correctly, but if I remember it correctly, in the book you need to drink directly from somebody to get blood bounded.
This is something which I would recommend to do because then it is very easy to know who you are being bloodbound to. So while we can experiment with things like, oh, I'm going to put my blood into pills and I'm going to do this super convoluted, complicated plan, yeah, technically you can do that, but without you having that as your signature ability, I'm going to ask you not to. Because this is a LARP. Our first thing is ease of play, ease of access. We don't have several rule books to tell you how to play, what are your special abilities, how many dice do you roll. You come and you play directly. And in this case, and this is a very big shift in somebody else's character, I would be very happy if you played it directly. So if you are punishing somebody and they have to drink your blood, or you're giving somebody a reward that they can be bloodbound to you, either do it directly by giving them your hand, or do it directly by grabbing a glass, pouring it in. Please don't cut yourself really, but use the really mechanic for this, and present it to them so they can actually drink it.
So it should be quick. It should be quick when it comes to when the first vampire cuts his wrists, or when
Quickness
somebody
is
else
good,
needs to
but
be.
the directness is more important.
Okay.
I have a traditional question. Like, as far as I remember, childs have first sip from their sires constantly. Is it still true? And is it true in our games? In our game?
Yes, it is true. To create a vampire, you have to give them your own blood. So during the first month, the childer is bound to their sire. But due to being turned into a vampire being a really complicated magical process, which is essentially unique only to the vampires, it goes away after that month if the sire doesn't push more blood into their children. It is basically a safety protocol for them not to eat them immediately. Because, they are young, brash, mild hunger frenzy, because they have been taken care of poorly and, So if you turn somebody on the game, they should not directly jump at you and diablerize you. If that's what you're asking.
Okay, I will check with my child how
Your childer
how
has
long.
been alive or unalive for several years, so unless both of you agree
So
that
far.
your childer is bound to you still, I might have some bad news for you, Daddy-o.
It's just a question.
So you are the unfortunate one. Okay.
All right.
To Mr. Šťuka or Mishko, to your question in chat, how do vampires say a wow in sickness and in health? Well, they don't. They wow to other things. And if you would like to know, there are 2 cults for you to pick from and inquire how do they do such a thing.
But
More
I
than
like,
happy to answer.
but I like this answer inside light and in the shadow. That's a really good answers.
That's a very nice one, right? There is also the official lore about how Camarilla joined forces with Ashira, where you can learn about this. And I believe it's in the V5 Camarilla book. Okay, do we have any further questions about blood bonds?
I guess there are not any, so we can move on.
So this has been our first segment. Do you feel like we want a break? To grab a coffee, go for a short toilet or something, or do we just continue soldiering on?
Uh, I think we can continue. I don't think.
I would say let's take a break.
Okay.
Okay, then see you
5 minutes.
here at 15:40. I'm going to pause our recording and see you here then. Thank you.
Yep.
And we're back from the break. Good. So let's continue with this wonderful presentation. Our next part of presentation will concern the really rules, or how do we use abilities? How do we use our special powers? What new unread? Who is writing to me? Ist Azone, hi, welcome.
Yeah, I decided to use a break to start asking questions which I should have asked long ago.
Okay. Yes.
I don't expect you to answer swiftly.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that now because that might be potential spoilers for some other people. But definitely we will answer that, don't worry. You will
Thank
most
you.
likely get a job related to your position, and it should make sense, don't worry about that. Okay. Oh, hi, I can see more people. This is wonderful. So, let's go. So really rules. Or fact, or naozaj in Slovak. They are built to be very simple, and they are built to be also very direct. So once you use this on somebody, you go, I really put a spell on you. And yeah, this is like, what spell? What do I do after? Like, we are not having them like this. So instead of going, I really put a spell on you, we go into really an effect what happens to you. So let's give some examples. You will really sit down. It's a simple mental command, and unless you have some mental defenses, you will sit down. That's it. Or we can go into more complex ones. You will really do as I tell you to do. Once the prince walks in, I want you to try and take off his head. This is something much more powerful, much more complex, and, with more complexity, raises possible problems. And this is basically how all of them work, be it magic, like blood sorcery or oblivion, or we go into dominate, or we go into anything. They should all be taken at face value. So they don't expect you to tell me something that you don't know. They are all literal commands. So you are really hungry, means you should go feed, because your character is hungry. They are out of blood and need to get some. Do you want more examples, or do you have some questions?
Did you start recording?
Yes, of course, I just started recording.
Okay.
We are really recording.
We are really okay. Just making sure.
So
Uh,
this is all on tape, yeah?
I don't know. Like, is everybody clear on really mechanic? Because this will be very essential to the game. The use the disciplines. So if you have any questions, just say it now. No questions? Perfect. Then they know everything, I think.
Okay, then we're going to the second part of the really rule, which is a really rule exception. And actually, it is not an exception at all, but I noticed that people who have played Tabletop Vampire or older editions of some LARPs might have a slight issue with the Dominate ability. So, same as in the rule books, same as in the other ways you could have played Vampire, Dominate also works on face value. So, when you say to somebody, tell me the truth, they will literally tell you truth. When you say to somebody, start talking, they will start talking about something, usually just some voices like, ah.
This applies usually to dominate, unless they have a dominate. This doesn't really concern the person, only the receiver or the person who is, doing the command.
Yes, the command, as with all abilities, is direct. So I want you to really, really tell me everything you know. Their answer is going to be everything you know.
I know everything that I know.
Literally, everything you know.
I'm telling you everything I know. So yeah. So basically, like, you need to clear out what you want them to say, not that say everything you know. Do you know this and this? Tell me this and this, or
Yes, even when it is like, tell me this and that, they will literally just tell you what you told them to tell you. So I
Yeah.
want you to tell me everything you know about Padre Azone. Their answer is going to be everything you know about Padre Azone.
Makes sense for everybody? Yeah?
Give me
Well, you
some
need
thumbs
to
up or
move your head
something.
more. Like this, yeah. Yeah. That's good exercise. That's good neck exercise,
Oh,
actually.
good, nice, thank you. Would
Okay.
you like to have some specific examples or anything to go further into this? I've given more time to this because people usually ask a lot of questions.
I can. I think from perspective of being a newbie, if I was one. So how would you say it? If you tell me everything you know, then I tell you everything I know. But how to say it correctly then? So they have the good idea.
You want me to tell you a use of an ability or a response to an ability being used?
Both. How would you say the ability, and how would they appropriately respond to it? Okay, let's say I have dominate,
Yeah.
and I ask you, what can I ask you?
I don't know, give me a dominate command. Is it going to be a simple one or a complex one?
Let's say, well, dominate command, stand
Okay,
up.
so simple. Stand up.
See? Easy.
And once it
Okay.
is done, I am once again free to act as I want to.
Yes. So I said, you really stand up now. That's dominate, and he did to stand up, right? So that's how you would correctly use the dominate. Or I tell you,
Or any other
forget
ability,
everything.
honestly. Like, doesn't matter where it is lined in. It's just
Okay.
that it is always direct. So if I tell to you you are really, really paralyzed and cannot move, you just don't move. That's it.
Okay. Is this all for really? Because there is one good example, which I would voice. So one of the players asked me, "What happens when I'm using really, and the other person is using really?" And it's like a fight between those realities, right? So let's say,
It's very simple. They both apply. So let's say you're using a really, really like you are really, really terrified by me, which
I know.
means that you're using, if I remember correctly, downed, and I should just keep my distance or run away. And at the same time as you're using downed, I am using blood sorcery. So you are really, really hungry. So I run away from you, but you have to go and feed.
So it can create very funny situations, right?
It can
So
create very funny situations, and in case that there is a reactionary ability, like Fortitude, most likely, or Celerity in some cases, All you do is somebody uses a really on you. It is a mental one that it's like you do this, you do that, you cannot move, or you tell me something. Well, in that case, it's like I am really not going to, or really no, really don't have to.
Mhm.
And
So
if the
let me
player is
counter.
unhappy, you can always use calibration. You just use the timeout. Hey, I have this and this ability, it works this way. Okay, it should interact this and this way. Simple, done, and then you go and play it.
Mhm. So if you're not sure, guys, if there are two really reads and you don't know how to play it out, you can just like time out, and we kind of calibrate about how to play this out correctly. Make sense for everybody?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Nice.
You can use the emoticons, thumbs up, and yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I'm actually amazed how well we're doing. We had a like 20-minute segment for this and we're done already. This is cool.
Hey, just one question, if you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
go
Of
first.
course.
Yeah, right. So let's say you have the ability that La Sombra has, which is like, oh, you are really held in place by a shadow monster or whatever it is, by like shadows. And it's like if you cast it, you can just release them from it, right? Because they're under your control.
Yeah, so
Like if I
recoding is an ability which is directed and is basically some form of magic. It is good
Mhm.
to use gesticulation. So not only like I'm sitting here, oh, you're really caught by a shadow monster, ha ha ha. Well, this is so anticlimactic if I do it like this, that it's not going to do, you can basically ignore me. But when I do it, that yes, this is proper darkness, and you are held by the shadows. Then like you have to play for the effect. You are going into the character. You
Yeah.
want to give it that Darth Vader big evil
Yes.
moment.
I,
That's great.
I prepare props for this one. I when I use a Oblivion touch, I wear a glow with a someone props and then touch anyone and say really decoy your hands and grab the hands.
Like the best thing which I would advise to you is essentially to touch before you say that.
Mhm.
Because like if you give away the intention before the touch is there, people are going to not want to be touched by you. But if you're already holding them and they're like, and now your arm really decays and rots away,
Mhm.
well, they know that they should start screaming and grab their decaying arm.
Yeah.
I would like to. I'm sorry.
One, let's go. I think.
All right.
Don't
Sorry, I
worry.
have just a technical kind of question. In the workshop before the LARP itself, will we go through like examples of these situations so we could try and play them out? Because this is a lot of information, and of course we will remember some
Of
parts
course.
of it, but it's always better to play it out and try it in
Yes, we will
person.
have this one also live because one thing is to talk about it here, understand, and
Yeah.
the other thing is to actually play that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Don't worry. Everything will go through everything before the game.
Great. Thanks.
Right.
Welcome.
Kopko, you were next.
Yes, thank you. I would like to ask how, for example, my ability to shrug off aggravated damage like fire or bullets would interact with abilities like Oblivion Touch that Mishko just described as rotting.
Well, in this case, parts of
Because
your
in
body
play,
falling away, that would be aggravated damage, right?
yes. In pen and paper, yes. That's why I'm asking about it because this is a little bit different in a sense. We're really playing it out in the real life.
Yeah, it is a bit different. Like, nobody is going to touch you with real fire because that's just stupid and dangerous. You could
Yes.
be even a firefighter and you would tell me this is stupid and dangerous.
Yes.
So we would use some kind of prop which would signify fire, or the biggest fire we're going to use are going to be candles and candlelight. So in this case, you can use it, and I would say that you and Mishko, I would advise you to do a very short calibration if that works, and is going to make a better scene because you're a badass who doesn't get hurt, or if it's going to work and it's going to be a better scene because your badassness is going to be broken by him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good.
Because I cannot give you a universal answer. There are so many levels of how you can play and where you can get with this, that being like, oh, this always wins is not a good answer, because in that one moment it could be different.
Okay, so we have to calibrate. I was just asking for this instance, how would you judge it? How would you judge the situation? So we
I
would
would
have
judge
to
it
calibrate.
essentially like if the situation is that he's using that as a last desperate measure, it would be super nice if it would work. If it is
Okay.
something you're using because you are to be uplifted, like, yeah, he is the indestructible badass, then yours should work. And
Mm-hmm.
that is something we will go in methodology. I looked up the word during the break, which is up next, because playing to uplift is going to give you an answers into what should work. Like if it is a scene which is supposed to uplift that your character is indestructible, of course it's going to protect you from damage. And okay, bye bye. Sorry to see you go. And if we are going to be playing a scene which is going to uplift Mishko's characters being destructive force of nature, then even your indestructibility in this case, well, it's better just not to use it and have him have the win. It is his moment in the spotlight.
Yep.
All right. I'm satisfied with the answer. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Very
just
happy.
play double.
Do we have any more?
No, you can move on.
All right, good, 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 good. So next up is methodology, play to uplift. Well, this is something which I have read about, I have experienced it, it is great, and it is essentially a player mindset. So when you are coming into our game, I want you all to think like, how can I make this game better? And I'm not asking you to come up with rules and posters and whatnot, but once you go into a scene, and the scene has a simple goal, like the prince and the court are given an introduction. What should your character do? If you are a member of the Camarilla, if you want to impress them, if you like them for some reason, you should give them respect. You either stand there with all dignity and military honors, or you bow down deep as you can. If you are subservient to them, you will most likely even like put your face to the floor. But if you are rebels, well, should you rebel in this case? Maybe you let them have this moment and see what happens after. And only once they have shown some disrespect to you, then you act with your rebellion. Because this is their moment. And unless this is planned like it is actually your moment and you're going to take over, it is still better to give them this one introduction and then put them to the guillotine and take off their heads. Because this is their, the last goodbye. And really having this sort of like director feeling that you're not directing only your character, like in normal pen and paper RPG, and the storyteller tells you everything which is going on around you, we are putting the simulation into your hands much more than that case. Because, like, yeah, you don't have full narrative control. You cannot describe that aliens have landed and they have come in. If you have an ability which is able to create illusions, then maybe you can. But outside of that, it is good to think of the scene for the others. Because by the end of the day, the king is not played by the king wearing wonderful gowns, having a crown. No, the king can look like me in this silly t-shirt. But people around me who bow to me, people who give me respect, people who are playing my servants, they are making me play the important character. So what we are asking all of you to do is to play to uplift the scenes, play to uplift the other characters. If you're meeting with a dangerous crook in a dark alley, act like you're meeting a dangerous crook in a dark alley. Like, come on, they probably have a knife and they can shank you. Good. Are they not? Do you know that? So, be a little bit cautious in your play. Be cocky when you need to. Be in the spotlight when it is your time. But when it is somebody else's, give them that spotlight, give them that respect, give them the time to shine. Like somebody is playing a smart character and you just came across a riddle. Go and confront them because, well, it's going to make their play that much more better, that much more important.
Yeah.
And I think that's my presentation on how to play to uplift. Does anybody has questions? And I can see head shaking like, no, everybody understands. Either I am a good speaker or this is really easy to understand.
People could be just shy. So what would you say? Like, for example, let's say that I play a character, and I can see somebody who is visibly trying to fool me into believing him.
Mhm.
So would you say that I should just like go with it because it would make his day happy?
Well, if somebody is playing a charlatan, they are going
Yeah.
to be partaking in a risk of, I'm going to try to fool other characters. And in this
Yeah.
case, it's always good to think of your character. Like, would my character go for an obvious scam? Or would I try to do a switcheroo on this? Like, this is more of a free space to explore, like, who is the better liar, for example, or am I playing somebody who is easy to be fooled or somebody who is hard to be fooled? And this is essentially why we did the character creations, why we spend so much time on making your signature abilities, because by that point that you are here sitting with us, you should know how to react, because there is also a concept of play to lose, which means that
Mhm.
you're playing for trouble. And
Mhm.
once again, despite playing the smartest character who can discern truth from lies, I just might be done with my personal quests at this point. And I might just be willing to go on a crazy adventure with this charlatan who is evidently trying to fool me, and I know that. But at that moment, he's going to be happy that they fooled me, and later we'll see where it takes us. Maybe they genuinely need help and they just don't know how to communicate.
Mhm. All right. So it depends. Like
Well, it
when
depends,
you.
but in the most basic sense, you're playing status this way. So when you're talking to somebody older, more powerful, smarter, or whatever the character concept is, and if the character concept is a great liar and they sell it to you, you don't have to even, question it. Like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, yada yada. Uh, we all know that. But giving them the first benefit of the doubt is usually good, because then even people who are not that great dramaturgically and they cannot play a good liar, or maybe it is their first game, are going to have that moment of, okay, I fooled somebody, then everybody knows that I am a liar, and what do I do from there? Like the classic tale of the boy who cried wolf.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay,
makes sense to me.
makes sense to me as well. We've been going for a good solid 20 minutes. Do we have any questions? Sounds like a no.
No.
Okay, do we want a 5-minute break before we go to the last segment? No pity, no, because I can see the camera.
Sure.
Ah, you would like a break. Okay. Okay, thank you, Robert. Right, so let's take a 5. We'll see each other at 16:10.
Okay.
All right, see ya. I'm pausing the
Don't leave.
recording.
We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yes, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Alright, so hi, welcome. We are in the last portion of our online workshop, and it's going to be about the safety rules. Because, well, that's important. Simple as that. Okay, so where do we begin? I think we should begin with the waiting for what Larry is writing, or I guess it was just hellos.
Did you start recording?
It was just random
Okay.
type.
Let's
Just
go
making
ahead
sure.
with random typing then. Okay, so all in all, the most important thing and the most halting to our experience are the safe words. So there are a few safe words on our game. First one is very, very simple, and that is stop red. We are using this one in case of actual danger being there. Like something has happened which has hurt me or possibly can hurt you, or maybe it has hurt you and you haven't noticed. And this ranges from physical to essentially social mental damages. And it can be that, yeah, I feel terrible about what is happening. I don't want to keep playing this scene anymore, and I want out. This can also mean such a simple thing like, yeah, you have hurt yourself either by stepping on a nail, or maybe you have fallen down the stairs, and I need to stop the game, get you to safety, get you some medical attention. It is the big red button of stop game. We have to solve this. This cannot continue as it is right now. And it is the ultimate safety mechanism. Beneath that, we have stop yellow. Stop yellow is once again a stop action, so the game stops and we solve the minor issue. And this can be like, oh, this is going to places I really don't want it to go. So let's maybe change the subject of the scene. Yes, recording is running. And like this would be a good time for stop yellow. Is the recorder running? And we check. Yes, it is. And then we continue. The scene unfolds as it was planned before. And this once again can be as physical as it can be mental. Like we're going to play a torture scene and you have something really traumatic in your life. And during the torture, I'm going to bring it up. I don't know you personally, and this is not an attack on you. But my character has chosen this because it is some archetypical thing which I, as a player, know that, yeah, this can hurt my opponent. But my opponent has actual real life issues with, for example, child abuse, or maybe hard family situation, or they can be from a foster home. And suddenly, what has been a fun torture scene for the player, not so much the character, is becoming problematic for the player as well. So this is a good time to use stop yellow before I go any further. Either hint at this and if I don't get it, stop the scene completely, or better yet, turn this into a calibration and tell me up front like, hey, the topic of our torture is not cool with me. I don't want to be talking about this. I don't want to be playing this. I don't want to have this in my character. Can you torture me with something else? For example, my character is not going to go back to the foster home, but let's use still family drama, like my mom and dad got a divorce and it really hurt me. And the player might be completely fine with this, and it's a very minor change to already a setup angle. But
Yeah.
it can mean a word to the player who actually has issues like this at home, and they might want to escape from that on our game by playing a relatively lighter horror story about vampires.
Basically, if you are uncomfortable of how the scene goes, or if how the torture goes, if somebody like takes you, tortures you,
Yeah.
and yeah, tortures you, and you don't want to be tortured this way, you can be like, okay, I don't want to be tortured this way, I want to be tortured some other way. Okay, so you can communicate how you wanna go about certain scenes. Some people will just never use it because they forget or they just they just don't want to use it. But just like make sure if somebody gets under your skin that you use this. It's really helpful, really important. We don't want anybody to leave the game with having some kind of trauma being brought up to them. So unless they want to, but that's a different topic. Okay.
I
Continue.
can give an example, a really good and simple example about kind of torturing. So, like on the game, I was pretending to suffocate person, and she just told me stop red at that moment, and she told, just don't touch my neck. Do everything you want, just don't touch my neck.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I like.
Yeah, so she was just uncomfortable with neck holding for their own. So,
I think it's pretty
but there's also
straightforward. Like, this is how to use these save words. We don't have to
yeah.
go into elongated explanation because Larry given us a very direct one. The player
Okay,
doesn't want X. So we don't do
okay.
X, we do Y, we do Z, or if we are unable to come up with any other way to do this, we ask them, so okay, where can I touch you? And when it is literally like anywhere but not there, but just okay, stop being stupid, you're getting over some how is it called? Trema, stage fright, and you will be fine. Just continue, and it will go on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that has been the stop signs, the stop red, which is like stop everything, and stop yellow, which is like something is not okay with our scene, or there's a possible danger, let's avoid it. And we're going to the medical one, which I am directly taken from one of the Warsaw games, which is blue. This one is not a stop, this is just blue. And it means that you're feeling blue, like either you need a breather, you need 5 minutes to go over some things in your head from your previous scene, or I don't know, you're just having some health issue. It is minor, you don't want to bother anybody with it, and you're going to take your pills to the kitchen and you'll be back in the game. So it is literally just like a checkout, but without checking out of a scene. You might want to return it later. But due to medical condition, you're taking 5 minutes out. People should not engage you right now. And once you feel good, you just come back in and you continue playing. A really simple one. And those are our safe words. Does anybody have questions? Okay. So another part of our safety system is the calibration. We have used the word several times today. And how does it actually work? Uh, it is not a big stop like the yellow or the red one. You literally can gesture timeout if you need to go more complex, or you do it just on the game, like, hey, we're going into a therapy session, and I'm going to talk to you about how I became a vampire, how they drowned me, and how it was terrible, and I would cry if I would not be submerged in water. And this is literally a calibration of I'm letting my other player know that I'm going to be talking about a gruesome story. We might even roleplay it out because it's a black box. And if my co-players don't want to do that, they at this point might check out and be like, okay, let's talk about something else on our therapy session. Or they might go into this and might not want to get into the detail of suffocation and literally can in character be like, yes, we talked about your suffocating underwater last time. I believe humans call it drowning. So why don't we go to what happened after you got turned into one of us and you could no longer drown? And that's a very simple calibration done in character. When you need to do it out of character, literally take it from the top up, like, okay, we're going to do some jump ropes. Listen, I really don't feel like doing jump ropes. I have a very tight costume on, and I haven't been keeping up with my diet. I don't want to tear these pants. So what exercises can we do? Which are not jumping. and you clip it from there.
Hmm?
Alright, so I see no raised eyebrows, no questions, no nothing.
Everything clear to you guys. Just thumbs up if on the Discord if you everything clear. Okay. Perfect.
Thumbs are flying. Alright, do we have any other safety mechanisms? I don't think we do. There is a bit about checking in and checking out of scenes, which we also can be included in the calibration. Is literally like you might even know metagamingly that some character has a dark secret or that they are going to murder somebody. And checking in means, hey, I want to go into this plot and play a murder scene. And depending on your point of entry, you will most likely, in this case that you know that somebody is a murderer, either be a complicit character who will help them with another murderer, or in case you are not absolutely sure, you can go and investigate, you can go and warn the target. That's called checking in. Like you are going in, you want to play this, you want to risk your character, you might get murdered by the murderer, who knows? Or you're going to do a checkout, like you see a character preparing weapons. They are definitely going into some action. And if you are not playing a fighty character, this is the time when you take a step back. If somebody hands you a weapon, you kindly refuse and tell them you're a concierge objector, aka a coward. And yeah, you have to do these check-ins and check-outs because if you are going to play a stone cold killer while not being one and not playing one, you're probably not going to enjoy it, and the character dissociation is going to come into play because you have to
Hmm?
be true to your character. And if you drive your character into situations which they are not able to handle, and unless you want to play a character in a bad spot which they shouldn't be in and should have a breakdown, don't do it. It's as simple as that.
What if you're completely blood wounded? What if you're completely blood wounded? I think the character, well, the player
This is
safety.
once again about calibration. So if you are completely bloodbound and somebody is pushing you into a situation which you would be terrible at, like they want to make a fool out of you, or they want you to end your character, you calibrate. And unless they give you some real good answers of this is the culmination of my character arc, which I have been working on, everything, please do this to me, then please do this for me, or whatever the connotation should be there, uh, then you should be able to get yourself out of such a situation. Or maybe you are
Sure.
able to come up with a way that, yeah, we really need you in this fight, but you're not a fighter, you will be the support, which in a modern setting like this might literally mean that you'll be sitting by the screen, having a map, and being on comms with people.
Sure. So it's all about communication between the players, understanding one another. But that's all that there is to it,
Yeah,
far as I
and just,
understand it.
these are safety mechanisms. So these are to be used when things are really going in a bad way for you. And I don't mean like bad way for your character, but bad way for you. Because playing out through a character who is about to be destroyed politically, socially, mentally, physically, dying, being sabotaged, being offered at an altar and sacrificed, or any of the other wonderful things which you can enjoy on a game, is
Mhm.
actually a lot of fun. I remember being sacrificed. It was awesome.
Yeah,
So, or even having those near-death escapes, as you can see in the movies, like you're not going to get to those by sitting safely in a chair and drinking a wonderful red glass of something. You're going to get that by going into the danger, by flirting with the most dangerous person in the room. You're going to get to them by getting close to assassins because they murder others. And unless you do those things, you're most likely going to be looking as that happens to somebody else and thinking to yourself, well, either this plays wonderfully into a political agenda, or that looks like fun, which I am missing out on.
Yeah. So play to lose can be fun. So guys, it's about collaborative story. So if you're gonna do stupid things, you can, but be aware there are consequences, and you make sure that you are comfortable and the other person is comfortable with it.
Yes,
Right?
like it's much more easier to play terrible relationship with a friend, boyfriend, whatever, than with somebody who is complete stranger to you. Our live
Yeah.
workshops will be about essentially getting comfortable with one another mostly, and
Yeah.
these online ones are about the, let's call it, boring technical stuff.
Is anybody bored? I don't think so. So thumbs up if you're bored. No thumbs ups. See?
No thumbs
Nobody's
ups.
bored.
Okay, good. So,
No thumbs.
does anybody have questions to these
Hello,
talks?
Artyom. Artyom, I saw you there.
I
I saw you
told
there.
him that he has been through this once, and I think not once, since he's an experienced LARPer.
Yeah, sure.
Just kidding.
Okay. Okay. So guys, any questions when it comes to say words, or if you are not comfortable saying it out loud, you can message us in the chat and I will read it out to you. Or, you know, I can keep asking questions for you guys.
Also,
But
you mentioned actually one thing, and that is that some people
sure.
don't want to use safe words. Well,
Yeah.
the choice is yours, but the safe words are there to keep you safe. So once you get into a situation and you really don't want to miss out on things, you really don't want to be seen as a poor role player or poor sport to somebody else.
Red.
Well,
Red.
you can immediately opt out, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you can also push through.
Overcome it.
Hmm?
Yeah. Overcome it. Because
You
some
can
role players.
overcome it, but the thing is, overcoming for overcoming's sake is not good. You are
Yeah.
a living being. You paid to be on this game. You came here to have fun. And
Yeah.
well, our kind of fun is the kind of fun you enjoy while watching a horror movie. So it's thrilling. It's tense. It is not the kind of fun of I came to a stand-up comedy show and I'm listening to jokes and laughing. Well, a stand-up comedian is going to be playing with us. I don't think he's going to play a fun character in
Mm-hmm.
like haha funny way. But fun character in like this is an intense character who will want to get stuff done. So playing with him is going to be more of an action ride than a comedy ride. And all of these things, they can have different effects on you. But once things get going and you will feel that I should use the safe word, use it. It's not a shame.
Yeah.
It's nothing terrible will happen. The game will not fall and crash because you used a safe word. Only thing
Yeah.
is going to be happen is that you're not going to have bad feelings about us and your co-players by being pushed into an uncomfortable situation, but you're going to, you know, have the consequences of I felt uncomfortable and I sought out help, which are about as consequential as when you have a cold, you go see a doctor. So
Yeah.
chill, absolute chill about this.
Yeah. Many people which don't even know they're uncomfortable with something before they experience it. So if you this might be the first time in your life, I at least hope so, that you experience blackmail, which you could experience in this game. And so it's possible that you could be blackmailed by somebody. It's possible that somebody tortures you. So this can happen within the game. So now you're looking at it like, oh, it's nothing. But once you are in that situation, it might actually be like, not that comfortable. However, keep in mind it's all a game. So, you know.
Okay, I can see that I have a message from Adam. Adam, if I should look at it now, please give me some emoticon or something on the chat, because if it is about your character development and whatnot, which we've been talking about, maybe you don't want me to show this to the entire stream.
Yeah, it's thumbs up if it is relevant to the
Not now.
Not
Personal
now.
notes.
Alright, okay.
personal.
Thank
Alright.
you. Okay, good.
So, do we have any questions or no?
Even
Not seeing any
feelings,
questions.
because this is about safety and, keeping a safe space means having safe feelings.
Okay. Well, is there any other topic?
Any other topic? What would you like to open? Because when I look into our schedule and I can double check it again on my phone, we should be done. And I think we even managed to keep it into an hour 30.
Mm-hmm.
And from other things, there are exercises. There is a circle of trust, which we will not be doing online because, well, it's a circle of trust. Violence and intimacy, well, that's also for straight up. And
I have an idea.
well,
So
then either make it a quick one or a relevant one.
I hope it's both. How about we take questions which are relevant to the game in general? No?
Okay, we can do that, but this would be outside of the workshops which we have prepared. So I'm stopping the recording, and
Okay.
we can have a general discussion, questions and answers, to not
Hmm?
have a giant video to upload. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so thank you all for coming and joining our online workshop. I hope you had a
Sure.
good time and it has prepared you for the upcoming game, which is next week. And see you
Yeah.
then.
Bye bye. Okay, guys, if you